we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do.
What's up, you guys? What's up? Or better yet, keep cool. It's your boy KvolioKlips. No, wait. See, it's done been too long on YouTube. Keep cool. It's your boy KvolioKlips, back at it again with another episode of Content Conversations. After a long, much needed break, I am back with the Content Conversation series, you guys. And in this week's topic, I will be talking about neutralizing narcissism. How do you deal with a narcissistic person or a narcissistic behavior within yourself, and how can you neutralize that behavior into something that's more accommodable to either the person, or how can you neutralize a person to be more accommodable to yourself, or just neutralize that friendship or relationship you have with the other person if you can't neutralize it.
What do you mean by that?
So yeah, you guys, narcissism is the topic of discussion for this week, guys. It's been a long time. I'm out of the, I don't know what to say, like cycle, or I'm out of the routine of the content conversations because I haven't did it in weeks.
Obviously.
So I got to get back on the routine of getting used to talking with you guys, chatting with you guys, having these much needed uncomfortable topics and situations and scenarios. So yeah, you guys, I hope you guys have been doing well. Shout out to you guys for letting me reach over 100 subscribers. I appreciate you guys. The views have been going crazy on my most recent video. I will have that in the link description. It was my DR trip at Punta, Cana at the all-inclusive resort. So guys, check that out and leave a like or comment if you have any questions about that. But on today's video, we will be discussing narcissism. So what is narcissism? I define narcissism as a person that sees themselves as superior to everyone else, and everyone else is like inferior to them, and everything that they do is either the right thing or they have a reason as to why they're doing it. You know, they have a excuse for, you know, bad behavior, or they have an excuse for being rude. They have an excuse for making everybody feel bad or feel lesser than themselves. So narcissism is, you know, kind of ideal in today's age because we live in an era where everybody thinks they're the main character of their life, when in actuality you're an extra. I don't mind being an extra. I can say that because I know I, you know, have realization about myself, and I don't define myself as the main character of life, period. You know, but when you can realize narcissism within yourself, you can also identify it within other people. But you first have to identify narcissism in yourself and see the behaviors that you have about yourself that's narcissistic before you can go and start pointing fingers and saying, "Oh, that person thinks they're better than me." So I would say that would be step number one. What are your bad narcissistic behaviors, and what are your traits that you give off narcissism? Is it you think you're better than everyone else? Do you think you're too good to do certain things? When I say too good to do certain things, I mean certain positive things. Of course, you know, just because everybody's smoking or drinking, that doesn't mean you are too good for that. That's something that, you know, you're trying to be above the influence. But I'm talking like, you know, I don't know, like eating certain food, like, oh, I don't eat McDonald's, like, or, you know, you guys understand what I mean when I say, do you feel like you're too good for certain things? So you realize those traits that you have about yourself before you can start pointing fingers at anybody else, because if you know anything, you know yourself better than you know anyone else. So once you start realizing those traits about yourself, you practice better behavior. You take in the knowledge somebody else is giving you that piggybacks off of one of my earlier episodes when you take constructive criticism from somebody and you don't, take everything so personally, and you actually sit and think about what somebody told you as genuine as they were about it, because if they didn't love you, they wouldn't tell you. So you just identify that narcissistic behavior about yourself, and you put a change in yourself before you try to put a change in somebody else. Now, once you start practicing that neutralization about your narcissistic behavior, that's when you can also try to use that empathy on somebody else that you see that's being narcissistic. It's not always going to work in your favor. You're going to still seem like that person that's trying to be better than everyone else. But hey, not everyone else can take criticism like you can. So, you want to be easy with the criticism, but you also want to, give them the information that they need to better themselves, because empathy goes a long way in a relationship. When you don't have empathy for the person that you call your friend or your loved one, then you can't really call them your friend or your loved one. So you want to just let them know that, hey, like, I don't like the way you're talking to me like this, or I don't like the way you refer to yourself as this, or you think you're too good to do this. If that was the case, we never would have clicked, or we never would have, called ourselves friends or called ourselves having this strong bond. And with narcissism, with really anything, envy, jealousy, if it's somebody that you love and somebody that you truly trust and call your friend, it shouldn't be anything that you can't talk to them about. If you feel like you're not going to get the reaction that you want because that person is not you, but if you feel like that you can't have a simple conversation, not an argument, not a piss fest, but you can't have a conversation with that other person, that should let you know that maybe it's time for the third step, and that is to just break ties with them and put in that closure, like in my other episode as well. You want to tie in that closure with them, because if you feel like you can't even have a conversation with somebody, and that's maybe, that's a big deal to most people. Like, males, we don't really like to talk about stuff. We kind of brush it off, or we kind of be like, man, what, nothing, But if you feel like you can't have a conversation, a civilized conversation, without the person being combative, or the person brushing you off, or, really just trying to diminish your character or diminish your feelings, or, not even respect what you're saying, then I think it's time to close it down with that specific person. You might just want to remove them from your life. I believe in seasons, and I believe a lot of things come in seasons, good or bad, and some people are just there for a season. And when that season of your life comes, when you're in a new season of your life comes, and you start realizing some characteristics about yourself that's changing in a positive aspect, that don't correlate to the person that you've known all your life, that's not you saying, hey, I need to see if I can change them. That's you saying you've changed yourself, and they either need to change themselves for themselves, or they don't have to change at all, and you just move on. Because me personally, you guys, I have been, within the last, I want to say, year or so, I have been getting a very, eye-opening, mature sense of, wisdom, and just, I guess I would just say wisdom. Is just like, I feel like it's not my job to make everyone whole, and it's not my job to fix everyone or find out what's the problem with everyone, because you will tear yourself apart trying to piece somebody together.
But I'm not a rapper.
So sometimes you just want to close that season of your life with them down, so they can build themselves up or find themselves. And even if they don't, hey, that's not your problem. You need to worry about yourself. On this series, I always talk about taking care of yourself because you're the most important thing to yourself. And I stand by that. You need to take care of yourself, because always worrying about the next person will have you just broken spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. You'll just be broken, and you don't want to have those depression stages or just broken stages of your life. Trust me, I done been through it, and it's very tiresome, and it's depressing, and it sucks. So with that third step, I feel like that is the hardest step to do, is to have that closure with that person. But like I said before, you don't come into this world to change people. You can't change someone if they don't want to change, and they want to continue their narcissistic behavior. Then hey, who are you to stop them? Like, couldn't stop them when you first met them, so why try to stop them now? And now I'm going to my fourth step, or my fourth tip. Try to maintain the narrative. And when I say maintain the narrative, everybody knows, well, I ain't gonna say everybody knows a narrative. A narrative is somebody trying to, or the story, or what's being told, or what's going on in the situation. If you have a situation to where, let's just say, I don't know, you and somebody fell out, or you and somebody are not on good terms, then instead of maintaining that narrative, a narcissistic person will tell you what you did wrong and how they were oblivious to what your wrongdoings, instead of taking accountability and being like, hey, I was wrong, you were wrong, we're both wrong. How can we make this better? How can we achieve that relationship that we once had? So maintaining that narrative and not controlling the narrative, because controlling the narrative is kind of hard to do, but it's not hard to do when you're having a conversation. When you're arguing, yes, it's always going to be hard to try not to control the narrative. But when you're having a conversation, you're actually sitting down with that person and talking and going back to what happened, or revisiting the situation that caused damage or caused pain, that will help the narcissism in you, if you're struggling with it, or the narcissistic person that you're talking to, realize like, hey, okay, I didn't know that. But holding them accountable, I want to say, is still kind of like a step 4, but it's kind of step 5, because accountability is big as well. Because if you don't hold somebody accountable while trying to maintain the narrative, it's kind of hard. That's kind of like, I want to say, counterintuitive to try to not hold somebody accountable and maintain the narrative. Because if somebody's telling you how much you did wrong, and you're just telling them, no, I didn't do wrong, but you don't have like an explanation as to why you didn't do wrong, or telling them what actually happened and what actually transpired, then you really don't have no evidence as to why the beef or the relationship should be mended. So the accountability is big on narcissism as well, because if you don't hold that person accountable, because narcissistic person will always think they're right, and they always think they know better than you or anybody else, because they see you as inferior to themselves. So if you don't hold them accountable to their narcissism and to their wrongdoings, then they will never, hold themselves accountable, because they're always right in their eyes. So, this was a rough, kind of feel like quick, rough episode coming back into the content conversations, you guys. I know on the last post I had, which was about 3 weeks ago, we were supposed to talk about financial stability, but I wanted somebody else in here to talk with me about financial stability, but I couldn't have them on right now, so they'll probably be on the next episode. Or hey, I might post some new topics and we might have somebody else on, because I do want other people on this series, because it's way more smoother to go off of piggyback off of what somebody says, or pick their brain about certain situations, certain topics, because you guys, I don't know everything, and I'm not an expert at everything, and I'm not telling you that I am. I can only give you the advice that I go through. I can only share my knowledge of what I go through, and I'm here to get feedback from you too. This is content conversations. This is not content lectures. I'm not telling you to take notes. You can't. Well, I did tell you to take notes. I'm not gonna lie. I told you to take notes on one of the episodes, but that's just a suggestion, because again, this is stuff that I've been through, so I experience it. It's nothing I'm telling you that I haven't experienced. But yeah, you guys, this is a long overdue episode of Content Conversations. Might be a short one. I'm not sure how long I've been recording. I feel like I kind of zipped through this, but I'll get back into the swing of things in the next episode next week. But you guys continue to comment down below some topics, and continue comment down below some advice about narcissism, about anything that you guys want to talk about. Just put it in the comments below, or comment in any video that you have any advice about, or you just have any feedback about. If you don't agree with certain things, comment in the comment section below. I'm not here to debate with you. I'm here to take advice, and I'm here to get feedback. And I appreciate you guys for all the love and support that you've given me thus far. Make sure you continue to like, comment, subscribe, share. And it's your boy KvolioKlips, and I'm out. See you later.
Right outside, TT, two-turn baby girl,